What's up, Boulder, Colorado?
I'm a country boy with a city swag, man. So I'm an acreage whore. So I love acreage. So I'm in the process of trying to purchase more. So I wanted to check it out.
Today we have several great news stories for you. So we're going to make like somebody who is going back to work after Christmas and pretend to work while we surf the internet and chat on iMessage all day. Now, our main story today is about Coach Prime getting a highly valuable wide receiver to come in and check out Colorado. Plus, we're going to talk about something exciting coming up for Colorado Buffalo recruits, now signees, Draylon Miller and Jordan Seaton, as well as a couple other great stories. So grab you a lightsaber, sit back, and get ready because this is the prime time for college football. Our first story today, we're going to talk about an epic wide receiver target who is coming to visit Colorado. Now, Buff Stampede has confirmed that wide receiver LaJohntay Walker will be visiting in the upcoming days. Walker is a 5'11", 167-pound wide receiver. He was the first team selection on the 2023 Football Writers Association All-America team as a punt returner. And he was a first-team All-AAC selection as a receiver by Phil Steele. He was also named to the AAC Special Teams Player of the Year, and he earned first-team honors as both a wide receiver and member of special teams. The list goes on. He was also named an FWAA First-Team All-American as a punt returner. He also received Hero Sports Group of 5 First-Team All-American honors as an AP. Now listen, he accounted for over 1,500 all-purpose yards and 10 touchdowns as a fourth-year junior in 2023. Let me repeat that back. 1,500 all-purpose yards and 10 touchdowns, playing in 12 games or 13 games, that's over 100 all-purpose yards a game. 10 touchdowns means he scored in almost every single game that he played. He was a model of consistency. He brings in a ton of experience. And again, he is a kid who won All-American honors all over the place. All-conference honors at 2 different positions. You know how hard it is to win an all-conference player of the year at anything? But to do it twice, not only at wide receiver, but also punt returner and be kind of a special teams phenom is pretty remarkable. I am super excited to see him come and visit. But even more than that, I'm excited to see if Coach Prime can close here. Going from the American to now what will be the Big 12, we've closed the door and closed the chapter on the Pac-12 would be super exciting. And to see him potentially fit into not only Coach Prime's offense, but also the Buff special teams would be rather exciting. Now, what do you like to see with special teams? Well, you like to see, first of all, consistency. No muffed punts, no drops, no fumbles. We're getting the ball back from the other team. We don't need to give it right back to them, especially when it usually costs you about 40 or 50 yards of field position. You want to see consistency, you want to see safety, but then, man, you want to see a guy who can turn it loose. You guys know Coach Prime loves special teams. There are videos of him looking at that Clemson sideline when he played for Florida State and saying, I'm going to take this back and take it back to the house he did. He loved special teams. He loved returning punts. We've talked about this. The most dynamic athletes, you just get the ball in their hands and let them go. And Walker is one of those kids. Much like Coach Prime himself, Walker is a Florida kid. He grew up in Palmetto, Florida. He is visiting. And hopefully, this is one that Coach Prime can lock in as a transfer for the Buffs. Let me know your thoughts on Walker, him fitting in at Colorado, how he may fit in both the offense and the special teams. Let's talk about him down below. All right, next up, let's talk about an exciting opportunity that's coming up for Colorado Buffalo recruits Jordan Seaton and Draylon Miller. Now, signees, both of them are. IMG Academy 5-star offensive tackle Jordan Seaton and fellow blue chip recruit Draylon Miller will be featured in their respective high school all-star games this month. Now, Seton is going to play in the Under Armour next All-American game on Wednesday. And that's on January 3rd. That's today if you're watching live. Coverage begins at 4 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. Tune in and check that out. He's going to be going up against some of the best competition in the country there. Miller is going to play in the 23rd edition of the All-American Bowl on Saturday. Now, that's January 6th. That's at the Alamo Dome. Game time is set for 1 p.m. Eastern. You can watch it on NBC. Now, listen, both Seton and Miller are both committed to play in the 2024 Polynesian Bowl in Honolulu, Hawaii on Friday, January 19th. Coverage of that game, you can check it out on NFL Network at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, we've talked about this before. Both Seton and Miller are highly touted recruits and are expected to make pretty immediate impacts for the Buffs. But the good news for you guys is you don't have to wait to see them. They're going to be on TV several times, as we just mentioned, over the next 3 weeks. I'm a little bit jealous of that Hawaii trip that they're about to be taking. It's been a few years since I was out that far west. But you don't have to wait until the spring. You don't have to wait until August to see these guys in action. Both of them, very highly touted recruits. Seton, we've talked about, the number one tackle in the country. You're going to get to see him go up against some of the very best pass rushers in the country. I would absolutely check out both games if you're able to. If you're not, set the DVR, set the YouTube TV record, however you watch this. We'll probably talk about their performances at some point as well. But if you want to see it live and you're missing college football, yesterday was the playoffs. We're moving past it. We got one college football game left. If you're missing it, you want to see some good high school action, check out both of these guys. Now, we've talked a lot about recruiting. We've talked a lot about the transfer portal. The transfer portal is actually closing. In fact, if you're watching this video, it has already closed. Now, if guys had already submitted their paperwork and already put their name in with their respective universities, you may see some guys kind of trickle into the portal. It may not be completely closed off and finished off, but for the most part, most guys that weren't in by last night at midnight, most guys that you're not knowing and aware of already being in are not going to be entering. So, if Coach Prime wants to make pickups, if Coach Prime wants to add guys before spring, if Coach Prime wants to continue to improve this roster, which I think he will. We talked about Scrouton. We've talked about Wester. We've talked about others. He's going to have to do it with the guys that are in the portal right now. Now, things are likely going to get crazy over these next couple of weeks. Things are likely going to be pretty fast and furious. No pun intended there, but the portal, when it closes, you will start to see kids trying to jump and commit as quickly as they can. So make sure that you're locked in with the channel. Make sure that you have hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of that. We're going to enjoy covering it. We're going to enjoy bringing it to you. As we've told you, Happy New Year. Hopefully you're enjoying it already. Hopefully it's off to a good start. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of the coverage here in 2024. A lot of people got some jokes off when we went 4-8 last year, but this revenge tour is for real. You don't want to miss a day of it. Hit the subscribe button, and thank you, as always, for watching the prime time for college football.